What's up everybody, it's Bragnar, and today I'm going to be cooking something nice and easy, very convenient, something you can keep in the fridge for later dates, for meals that you're going to make in the future, something just super easy, really delicious, easy to put together, and something you can just keep and have for whenever you want. What it is Marsala sauce. Now this can go together great with meat, you know, chicken thighs and legs, or you can do chicken cutlets, pork cutlets, even steak if you use a beef stock as the base for this sauce, but right now I'm going to be using chicken stock. So this is something that, like I said, is easy to make, easy to keep in the fridge, and you can have it just for easy access whenever you want, whenever you're going to be making a nice, savory, delicious, sort of meaty, I guess, usually meal. So what we have right now are all the ingredients on display for y'all to see. The first step, though, is chopping up all of our vegetables, and so I'm going to do that right after I introduce everything to you, and then we'll get this sauce on the road. So we've got onion, a stick of celery, a stick, is that what they call it? I don't know. A stick of celery, some mushrooms. Marsala sauce traditionally always has mushrooms in it. Now, I've done a little experimenting though, however, and you don't need the mushrooms. I've made this sauce with simply a very basic French-style mirepoix, as they call it, which is just chopped celery, onions, and carrots, all in the bottom of a pan with olive oil and some flour. It's called a roux. That's what they call it in French cooking. So that creates a nice, delicious, savory sort of vegetable type of stock in the bottom of the pan. Creates an amazing flavor, and that's really the strength behind this sauce. So there's that. The mushrooms, but like I was saying, you don't need the mushrooms. I've made it with just the mirepoix, and it came fantastic. So, you can use mushrooms. Traditionally, I love mushrooms. I think it's going to add a lot of nice flavor to the dish. It's, you know, this is Marsala sauce, so it should have mushrooms. But all I'm saying is, if you don't have mushrooms, you don't need it. You can use the simplest of ingredients: onion, celery, and carrots. There you go. So then we've got olive oil. We've got some of this wine. I mean, you can use any wine you want, really. Stick to red, though, with Marsala. I've tried it with white even, though, and that works, too. Works very well. If you're going to be making, let's say, something like oven-cooked chicken parts, you know, thighs and legs, maybe some breasts or whatever. Put it in, like, a casserole pan like this, with a white-based Marsala sauce. I think that'd be really delicious as well. But anyway, right now we're sticking with red. This is a Merlot. Obviously you should be using Marsala, but Marsala is kind of, I don't want to say hard to come by, but it's just something that people don't buy often, and I wasn't going to go to the liquor store right now just to get some Marsala wine. I think this wine is going to work great. I've actually never used Marsala wine when making this sauce, and I think it always turns out fantastic regardless of the wine that you're going to use. So this is fine. Any red wine, really. Carrots, like I said, then we have the chicken stock and flour. So the first step is chop all these vegetables up, throw it in the saucepan with olive oil, saute them for a bit, and then add flour to make a roux. So I'm going to get working on that, and we'll be right back once this is ready and on the stove. Okay everyone, we are back. I've chopped up all the vegetables, and I have them here in the saucepan. Next step is just to take our olive oil. You can see it right there, at a decent amount. You know, don't be skimpy, but don't be too generous. Take it over here, apply it to the heat, and let that start to saute. Now, all we do is saute these vegetables until they get not super soft, but definitely a little browned. And then once that's all good, we add flour to make a nice roux, thicken it up, and then deglaze it with the wine. So we'll let this cook for a little while, and I'll be right back when we can get moving and add the wine. Okay, so if you can see right now, all the vegetables are sauteing very nicely. The mushrooms and the onions are getting nice and soft. Onions are starting to caramelize, the mushrooms are getting soft, and the celery as well, and the carrots. They take a bit longer, but that's fine. What we have to do right now is add about 3 tablespoons of flour, not too much, just enough to thicken this up, kind of soak up any of the moisture that's in the bottom of the pan that was released from the veggies. And then we let that sit on the heat for a minute and add the wine. So I'm going to put this camera back on the table and set all that up. Alright, so just take a regular spoon or a measuring spoon, whatever you want. 3 of these. 1, 2, and a third. That's good. That's all you need. Mix it around, let it soak up all the moisture. Now this is called a roux in French cooking. Okay, so I'm going to let this sit for a minute about, and then we add the wine, and it'll really start to cook. And already I can tell the smell is just amazing. Alright, so how do you know when to add the wine? Well, when the bottom of the pan starts to get sticky and you're taking your wooden spoon or whatever it is that you're using to do this and you feel it kind of dragging across the bottom, the flour is kind of caramelizing with the olive oil and also all the liquids that come out of the veggies. You know what, better yet, I'll just show you what this looks like. But once it starts to get thick and sticky on the bottom of the pan, like so, that's how you know to add the wine. So this is good. As you can see, yeah, it kind of scrapes the bottom and you can see it building up down there. Now we should add the wine. Alright, I always just wing it when I put the wine in. I don't think it's really, you know, I'm going to finish off the bottle. There was maybe like a cup in here. Let's say a cup. Put a cup of wine in. But honestly, it's not super important to get exact measurings. I love this. I love cooking wine. The smell and the taste is so beautiful. So we let this sit for a little while, and we'll be back when we could add the chicken stock. Okay, so after you've added the wine, you let it sit for a moment, let it start to bubble, and then we add the chicken stock, which is right over here. Chicken stock, that's about 1.5 cups. So let's do that real quick, because this is starting to bubble a bit too much. Alright, add that in there. Then let it sit and just cook for a long time until it reduces down to a nice, thick, gravy type of consistency. Also, what we can do now is add some salt and pepper. So let me just... Alright. So yeah, like I said, we're going to just sit and let this cook. You gotta let it reduce down. Could add some pepper, a little bit of salt. I like black pepper in the Marsala sauce. I think it adds a very nice spiciness. That's good. And this is optional, but if you want a bit of saltiness, just add a teeny little bit of salt. Doesn't need it that much. Just a little bit, that's good. Okay, so while we wait for this to cook, yeah, I don't know, you just sit here and let it reduce down, let it get nice and thick. I'll be right back once this is done. Alright guys, so we're still waiting for this to reduce down. As you can see, it's boiling pretty furiously. The one thing though that I wanted to add here is that just make sure you're always kind of stirring this while it's doing this. You don't want anything to burn. Hold on, let me see if I can make this focus a bit better. There we go. Yeah, you don't want it to burn, so just make sure you keep stirring it while it's reducing. And you'll start to see the level, like, hold on, you know, the actual level of the sauce go from high down, you know, lower, lower, lower. And it'll start to really thicken up and turn into a gravy. It takes a little while, you just gotta be patient, keep stirring, and enjoy the smells. This is the most aromatic part, and it's amazing. It smells delicious. So sit back and enjoy if you're making this. I'll be back once it's finished. Alright, so we're back and our Marsala sauce is finished. As you can see, it's nice and thick now. Let me just grab this spoon back here. Alright. Yeah, as you can tell, it's nice and thick. You can just hear it when it's bubbling. And also, you know, you can see it's got that thickness. If you want it even more thick, you can let it cook a little bit longer if you want. But the main The main thing here is when you smell it, it starts to thicken up and you start to smell it, you won't really get the bite of the alcohol that's boiling off anymore from the wine. It starts to smell just savory and almost stewy. A little bit of spiciness from the pepper, the black pepper. And that's all you're getting. All the alcohol and all that harshness from the wine is gone, and it's just left over with the delicious cooked wine type of smell. There's no other way I can describe that besides cooked wine smell. And it's amazing. So yeah, and you guys are in luck. I actually have some chicken cutlets left over. So, the ideal way to serve this is with some, you know, on a chicken cutlet or whatever. So let's just move this over here. There we go. And right here I have a plate with chicken cutlet, some roasted vegetables. We have sweet potato, squash, zucchini, and green beans. And, excuse me just a second. Let's take our sauce. Get a nice heaping spoonful with all vegetables. Right there. Let's try to get some better lighting, actually. There we go. So yeah, there you go, guys. This is a easy and quick Marsala sauce recipe that you can just keep in the fridge and use for leftovers like I'm doing right now, or for a future dinner that you're going to make in the future. Yeah, whatever you want. It's a nice, easy recipe, and there you have it, guys. So I hope you enjoyed, and see you guys in the next one. Leave any comments, like the video if you liked it, and I'll see you guys soon.